Hi, Robert Goldberg here at First Amendment TV. We got a new breaking story from Joey Rouleau about Bridgegate and what's going on.
Today, Ed, how you doing there, Robert? How's everyone else doing out there? Thanks again for tuning in. Like I said last time, we're up in the thousands of views, but this is going to be a short update. We're going to get this done in a couple of minutes, so we really appreciate the hour long that you've been sticking with us. Today was a release to the New York Times, as well as the other media outlets, that the internal investigation that Governor Christie had done in the State House with Bridgegate is conclusive that the governor had absolutely nothing to do with Bridgegate. What we're trying to do here, though, is to give a non-spin on, what exactly happened today and what consists of this particular investigation. One, the attorney has political ties to the governor. The attorney was chosen by the governor, and it cost taxpayers about $1.5 million. This investigation did not include Bridget Kelly, which is one of the lead people that we need to find out exactly what happened, since she was the one that gave the go-ahead to stop the traffic with David Weinstein, as well as Bill Steiffen, which is the campaign manager, who was also fired, who ran two of Christie's campaigns and was reversed on becoming the new GOP director of the state. 3-star witnesses were excluded and refused, as they're refusing to testify to the legitimate investigation, which is another problem with this, is that the information was released prior to the bipartisan Republican and Democrat legislature, which were elected by the people, who are now investigating this. So this information is being released now prematurely, based upon a lack of the 3-star people that actually performed the obstruction of justice, perhaps, or the abuse of power. The biggest problem that, I have with this whole thing is that the information that was released did not include Bridget Kelly. It did not include David Weinstein. David Weinstein, let me remind you, is saying that he has information to incriminate the governor, that he was involved. He's basically saying that if he gets immunity, that he's willing to do this. This law firm has political ties directly to the governor and was paid $1 million, $1.5 million to perform this investigation. Basically, the way the investigation is working is that right now there's a legislative committee which has both Republicans and Democrats, and they're trying to get the same 3 witnesses to testify through subpoena, and they're refusing. The reason why this is happening is because initially, when Christie discovered Bridgegate, rather than, and I believe, like any employer, if she was interviewed at the firing to say, not only did you lie to me, but did you obstruct justice here and not tell people that you were causing an abuse of power by shutting down a bridge, as well as letting Weinstein go prior to this. So now these characters in this theater aren't able to testify, and they refuse to testify to the lawyers that are working directly for an internal investigation. Now, this internal investigation is coinciding with a legitimate, approved by both the Republicans and the Democrats that were elected by the legislature, and there's also an attorney general investigation. I believe that because this information was released prematurely, that it's a good way to put on the record, and it's a good way to put out there that Bridgegate is not a problem now, and that basically the information that the governor absolutely has nothing to do with this, and Bridgegate is pretty much over here. That's not the case. The legislative organization of bipartisanship has not even concluded at this point, and the Attorney General hasn't concluded with their investigation. And this is a good move, I think, by the Christie camp, because what they're doing is they're putting out a premature statement of innocence with what they call credibility, but I don't think it's credible at all. This is a lawyer that has political ties. This is a lawyer who's made $1 million+ off of this. He's made some benefits off of this from that.
That's what I got.
And Bridget Kelly, who is involved with Bridgegate with abuse of power and obstruction of justice, as well as David Weinstein, they are unwilling to speak. We are back at square one. This is politics as usual, and I just wanted to take off that spin. Thank you for listening. Robert, you have anything to say?
Yeah, my big question is here that answers throws something else into this for a question, and it could be another scandal. If he hired his friend, an attorney, and it cost $1 million, I would like to see a breakdown of his scheduling on how he charged, because if he was handling this case, if he was on it for 2 or 3 weeks, that's obscene amount of money. You don't hear criminal defense cases that go on longer than that are, with high-profile people that are that high crazy. And they can go on for a month or so, and this is maybe 2 or 3 weeks. $1 million? That's obscene.
The attorney has political ties. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a friend, but it's a political friend. Somebody who is trusting, I guess, by the governor, who would give an objective view. But the thing is, how can you do an investigation without the 3 people that were the perpetrators of the crime,
right,
of obstruction of justice?
No,
and again, the people that were involved with this, that if it was a crime of obstruction of justice possibly, or involved with any kind of, shenanigans, with abuse of power. There's no way that this is over. The legislative committee head, Wisniewski, not only downplayed, but said that this is nothing but hogwash, pretty much, and that you can't have an investigation without the 3 people that they're trying to get subpoenas from and to find out the information. Weinstein, who was told, time to close down the bridge, and Bridget Kelly, who said it's time to close down the bridge. This is a ingenious move for somebody that's running for president behind the scenes and trying to get out of a death spiral with polls that are plummeting by 20%. We'll give you an update soon, but this is the No Spin Zone on political corruption with Joey Rullo, and thank you very much.
No, I understand what you're saying there. I'm just upset that the taxpayers are paying $1 million for this attorney for something that we don't even know how much time he really put into this thing, and he's getting paid off at our expense $1 million. Now, compared to the way government spends money, $1 million is not a lot today, but I like to see his ticket on how he breaks down on what he was charging and what he was doing.
It was a waste of $1.5 million of taxpayer money, because the conclusion for any intelligent person with a brain that a high schooler would say, how can you conclude an investigation without the person that you fired, that you never asked the person, did you say that you wanted to close the bridge and why? Any good manager or leader would have done a exit interview. When you fire somebody, you have an incident report. Anybody out there in a corporation or a job, you do an incident report. And there's no incident report. We have no idea, what happened. We know that he fired her because she lied, but why not ask those questions? Well, now it's benefiting Christie because he let her go without finding out anything. So now if they don't talk, people are going to never know what happened with that. So for now, that's what we have.
Okay. Thanks again for that update. And
You're welcome.
be sure, people out there, to subscribe to First Amendment TV and keep in touch. And by subscribing, you'll be able to see when we have updates with Joey Rullo on political corruption. Thanks once again.
And you can also go to Joseph Rullo, Joseph, Rullo, Rullo, at Twitter, if you're interested in getting my updates.
Very good. Later, people.
Thank you. Good night.